bet you this would change it. Check, check, check. Yep, somehow something was changed in the settings. Alright, we good now. Welcome to another edition of Sunday Night Live. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go Get 'em! And we have the reemergence of someone who was just on here, what was it, a week and a half ago?
Yeah, I think it was about 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks ago.
Okay, about 2 weeks ago. And tonight we're going to finish where we started at. And more. Y'all might see her on here on a regular basis. She cool people. So, one thing about it, she's
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
and she definitely will if you get out of line. So with that,
It's time.
let them know who you are.
Yes, it's your girl Tatiana X Dolly on Facebook, _Tatiana 4 real on Instagram. Here back with your man's John Bailey to do.
Don't nobody call me Jesse. This
Nobody call you John. I call you John.
that's how
Look,
you know
I called by your
She
name.
ain't been around me like that. That's how you know she ain't been around me like that. Don't nobody call me that at all. Like nobody. Like, boy, if you was around me and you was needing some help and you started screaming out, John, boy, you might.
Listen, I'm used to saying John because my son's name is Johnny, and I don't even call him Johnny. I just say John.
Yeah, see, nobody calls me that. That's the one thing I'd be like, bro, I keep on walking. Keep on walking. All right, let the world know who you are. This is your second time on the show, but there's going to be people on here. I see we got a Justin here who says this is his first time here. Let's go, Justin. Welcome to the show. Let him know who you are.
Oh, yeah, Tatiana. Some people call me Dolly, so you might be around. You might hear them say Dolly. You might hear them say Tatiana, Tati. You know, here in Phoenix, Arizona, I've been here for about 4 years. I am a travel agent, so, you know, if you booking them summer trips, you want to get them offers, get them deals, hit me up, let me know. We can work something out.
Basically, what she's saying is she can send you out the country real cheap.
Real quick, too.
And real quick, too. She said real quick. She going to get rid of your ass. What else you do?
I'm also a model, so you might see me on some flyers. You definitely can catch me at Flex Fest, June, 9th, 7th? I'm giving out the wrong date. I'm going to have to double check that.
I thought it was June 19th.
I thought it was June 7th or 9th. We gonna get back to that. I'll let you guys know by the end of the show. We're going to have the correct date. It is in June, though. I got a lot of stuff going on.
It might be the 9th. It is the 9th.
It's the 9th. Okay. I'm going to say I have a lot of stuff going on, so dates and stuff. I'm at the point where I need a pocketbook. I need a calendar.
Or an
Planner.
assistant.
Yeah, or an assistant. Definitely.
If anybody's looking to be an assistant to this wonderful lady, you want to get some experience and get out here in this world, Tatiana's looking for one.
Yes. I'm always about the business. You see the shirt, Black Boss. We in the building.
You heard her. She said, Black Boss.
Dom the Monko.
All right, so last time you was here, we had a pretty good goddamn conversation, if you ask me. And tonight, we're going to basically finish where we left off at, right?
Yeah.
Although, we still need to get your ass here for a Freaky Friday.
You know, at some point, Fridays are all the day I try to have off. You know, if you can catch me in between modeling and booking trips, you know, then you might catch me on here one Friday.
We're going to get her in here on a Friday night. She don't know it yet, but it's definitely going to happen. Friday night. We're going to get her on a Freaky Friday. We're going to get her on some type shit. Okay. So tonight, we want to talk about self-love versus selfish, right?
Yeah, we're picking up off from that, you know, importance of healing and setting boundaries and Self-love ties right into that.
Okay. Now, at what point in time does self-love turn into all-out bullshit?
Well, I think we have to remember that, you know, self-love requires you to be selfish. It does require you to be selfish. And I say that because for a lot of people, especially if you have a good heart, it's really hard for you to say no to people. You want to be there, but at some point you have to, again, set those boundaries, learn when to put yourself first and be a little selfish. It turns into BS when you're not doing it humbly, And I say that as to say, when I say you're not doing it humbly, I mean you're doing it and with malicious intent, you know.
As so to the point of being a sociopath, because see, in the world we live in today, I call it just all out retardation. A lot of y'all walk around calling people narcissists when really they're sociopaths. What you guys call narcissist is a sociopath. And the crazy part about it is what you do on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and Snapchat, where you are consistently posting yourself and showing the best of the best of the best moments of your life, would actually be the epitome of what a narcissist is. Narcissist, not narcissist personality disorder, because it's two totally different things. A narcissist is someone that actually loves themselves.
Well, we also need to know what the definition of narcissist is, because having love for yourself and loving yourself is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
It's not a bad thing to put yourself first before others. We have to understand the word before we go around throwing it out like we just learned the new word. Like, when T.I. was saying expeditiously, then everybody want to start saying and trying to use it in a sentence because they don't learn a new word. Understand the word that you're using before you go around calling everybody a narcissist.
Thank you. Narcissist, by definition, a person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. Narcissists who think the world revolves around them.
I'm a narcissist then.
Thank you. A lot of people are actually narcissists, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good trait. If you are not a narcissist, you don't love yourself. That's why when people post that shit on Facebook and I correct them, because I would literally go and post the definition of a narcissist and go, you are not saying what you think you're saying. Calling your ex a narcissist is just saying that they love themselves. That is not what that person is. That controlling and emotional abuse and all that, well, look up the term sociopath. That is what that is. Now, self-love is probably one of the most beautiful things in the world. Like right now, how long did it take you to get ready?
It took about 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it took you 20 minutes to look that good.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that 20 minutes of loving yourself, correct?
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm not saying 20 minutes as if it doesn't take me longer to get dressed on certain days. Let's keep in mind this is Sunday. And if you watched the last episode, I told you Sunday is my day. Other than working, I don't get out of bed. It's my house day. So
how the hell I keep getting you on a Sunday?
You didn't get me on a Sunday last time. This is my first Sunday.
No. Last time was a Thursday.
It was a Thursday. Okay. So I kind of just threw something together, got a little comfortable, and just, came out the house. We're just sitting, we're having a conversation. So it wasn't I need to look spectacular.
Well, you don't look bad.
Oh, well, thank you.
So I says balance between helping others and doing self-care. Mm-hmm. If you don't love God, you love yourself. Narcissism is a sign of self-doubt. Well, narcissism and narcissist is not the same thing. There's two. So we have, this is, again, words have meanings. Meanings have words. there's definitions that go behind these things. And unfortunately, I don't know what happened through the Rona, the 19 thing that came out, where this word became used on such a high level to where everybody and their mama decided to start using this word like it's a natural, normal thing. Is absolutely crazy to me. It's the same thing as like what I've been saying for years when it comes to people that say they're independent in a world where, unfortunately, nobody is independent in the United States of America. Nobody. That's a whole totally different subject. Now, when it comes to self-love, okay, well, in self-love, what would you say would be a healthy version of self-love, in your opinion?
Showing your self-love. I remember one time I asked a person, how do they show their self-love? And they couldn't answer me. Self-love, while although does require you to be a little selfish, it does require you to set boundaries and stand on those boundaries. It does require you to heal and, put yourself first. It also, requires you to show yourself love. How do you show yourself love? I know for me, I do several things to show myself love.
So what are some of your tips and techniques of what you do that allow you to show yourself love?
I buy myself flowers, especially roses. And right before my roses are like completely dead, I pick them and I give myself a rose petal bath. I take myself to go get a massage, make sure that I'm feeling good. I laugh, because laugh is very soothing. It makes
Healing.
me feel good. Yeah.
Yes.
So when I laugh, that's how I show myself love, because I know that that's something that I like. So you have to identify, what are your interests? What do you like? How do you show yourself love? Showing yourself love might be going to the gym. It might be caring about how you eat and what you put into your body, which is one of my things too. I try to pay attention to what I'm putting into my body because I love my temple. I want to be around for a long time. So to show myself that I care about myself, I'm going to watch what I eat.
Okay. I mean, my self-love, me personally, my self-love is mentally being astute, as in making sure that I'm always on top of my A game. Like, I no longer smoke weed because, personally, for me, it didn't do anything for me mentally. It was not stimulating. It didn't take me to any sort of next level. It didn't help businesses. It didn't help me family-wise. It wasn't helping me be a better person. It was just, ooh, I get a temporary high, and that was it. Drinking, not putting alcohol in my body in a manner in which intoxication happens. It ruins liver and all the other things that come along. I mean, the hangovers that come with that. Working out. I am definitely on my A game back in the gym again. Whereas I can say, so Friday we did not have a show. It was the 5-year anniversary of my mom passing. And I personally took that day as a mental health day. Why? Because, again, I'm in the process and have been in the process of healing. And I allowed myself to get out of shape. I allowed myself to eat bad. I allowed myself to not work out. I allowed myself to make a lot of bad decisions that did not benefit me long term. Whereas now I'm back to doing all the total opposite of exactly what I said. And that to me is self-love. Self-love is also making sure that the people around me, for those people that are around me, know no ifs, ands, and buts about it, I'm a vibe. We have fun. We laugh. We talk shit. We enjoy every moment of each other's company. I make sure everybody around me has an amazing time. And then if you are somebody looking to do something with your life, I have no problem either mentoring you, helping you, or just being the voice of reason, whether you need to hear it or not. That is my version of self-love. And the thing about it is, in me doing those things and loving myself in that manner, it allows me to be a better person for other people, from my family members to my kids to those that are in my circle that are my close friends. Now, with that, what we would love to do is, yeah, we want to hear from you. 602-736-6660. How do you love yourself? Go ahead, call in and let us hear it. And let's see. I said 40% of millennials get their rent paid by their parents. Is their self-love better or worse? So that's 1982 to 1995. Whew, millennials. How would you like to have 40% of your rent paid?
Honestly, I was gonna ask that. I mean, I feel like it's borderline worse because at the end of the day, it's not teaching them,
Responsibility.
it's not teaching them responsibility, But then again, it depends on the situation. We really don't know everyone's, household situation, what they're going through, why their parents are paying their rent, not, but I definitely agree on the not smoking part. I quit smoking as well. That's one of mine.
Yeah. In life, well, it ain't a feel, it's a no. If you don't take care of you, the question is, who is going to take care of you?
Same with love. If you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else?
Thank you. I just had this conversation earlier today. Okay, now here's a question. Have you ever fallen out of love with yourself?
I wouldn't say I've ever fallen out of love with myself, but I've definitely had moments of disappointment in myself. Where I had to then have a talk with myself as far as like, you're doing the best you can. And sometimes you have to talk to yourself and write love letters to yourself, just like to release that disappointment or that guilt or that fear of let down. We let ourselves down sometimes, whether it's decisions we made in relationships, whether it's things we just did in everyday life. So I've definitely had times where I've been disappointed in myself, felt like I could have handled situations differently or removed myself for situations. I definitely take responsibility and, the part I played in certain situations and how they played out, whether it was a hurt to me or someone else.
So I need to write myself a love letter? Is that what
Write yourself a love letter.
I ain't never wrote myself a love letter. I used to write love letters to girls back in the day. Not long it's been since I wrote a damn love letter.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do to show myself love and appreciation, or just if I want to tell myself, hey, you may not be where you want to be, you may not be where you think you should be, or whatever the case may be, but you're doing great. You're great, So I write myself love letters like every once in a while just to remind myself that I am amazing.
Oz, I see you calling in 602-736-6660. Call the number on the screen. Don't call my actual cell phone, fool. He said the number ain't working. Hold on, we gonna find out real quick. Why did everybody be saying this? We gonna see.
I'm live, by the way, on Facebook, you guys.
It's working.
Okay.
Well, let's call him. Okay, so the call.
Please leave your message.
Okay. The call went through. Call again. 602-736-6660. Make sure I'm on the right number, too. This happens. This is what happens when you go live. I swear. Everything seems to be working out perfectly fine. Here, I'm going to sign out. I'm going to sign back in again. So hold on if you're calling in. Natalia says, encouraging yourself is one of the best ways to love yourself.
I agree.
How do you encourage yourself? What is self-encouragement to you?
Self-encouragement, for an example, is when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like going to work, but I'm going to push myself to get out of bed and go. No, but encouragement is just encouraging yourself to take that leap of faith, to do anything. It doesn't matter if it's getting up out of bed in the morning. It doesn't matter if it's fighting depression. It doesn't matter if it's, starting that business you always wanted to start. She's definitely right. Encouragement is a way to show yourself love, because sometimes if we don't encourage ourselves, who will? And the best encouragement comes from yourself. That's how you show yourself that you can believe in yourself. It's easy when someone else is telling you, but it doesn't matter what another person is telling you if you can't tell it to yourself, if you don't believe it when you say it to yourself. You don't believe it when they say it.
Do you think we have a hard time accepting other people's encouragement or I don't know, words of affirmation?
No, everyone loves to hear nice things to an extent. I think people have a problem taking constructive criticism. It's good when they hear nice things, but as soon as someone says something bad or something you can work on or something that you should be doing, then, people get offended.
So are you saying that people are a lack of accountability?
We're still back on accountability.
Again, I had this conversation literally just early today. Accountability is one of those things. So let's say you're having a conversation with someone and they are asking you, what can they do better? Right? Mm-hmm. What I have taken the time to do is, instead of responding, which is what I used to do all the time, what I say is, well, let me ask you this. Based off of the work that you feel you are doing, what do you feel like you could fix? What do you feel like you could do better? Or what do you feel like you could be better at? And you know what I'm finding more than anything nowadays? They can't answer those questions.
They can't answer those questions out loud, but they, in their head and in their heart, already know the things that they can do better. They just want someone else to say it. 9 times out of 10, the same way men be like, oh, women sometimes ask questions they already know the answer to. That's the same with people in general. People ask questions that sometimes they know themselves. They already know the answer. They just want to hear someone else say it. They want that second. So they may not be saying it out loud, but in their head, they probably have a general idea of where they can start to begin to do things better.
So why do you feel like they do that then? Like, what is the purpose behind that?
What, not saying it out loud?
Like, why do we look for
validation
from other people?
I think it's just
that goes validation, self-love and validation, I feel like go hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you need validation from an outside party, do you really love yourself?
No, and a lot of people seek validation from outside sources because, again, and this goes back into the previous conversation we had last time I was here, when you are healed, you don't look for validation from anyone. You might ask for assistance. You might understand that sometimes it takes a team to, make things better. But at the same time, I feel like it's just how we have been raised, things we've seen in our environment. Thank you.
Help you out over there a little bit.
Yeah, see, teamwork. Appreciate it. So I think people seek validation from outside sources because they haven't found that validation within themselves. And there's a difference. If you come to me and you ask me something and I respond with basically reversing it and asking you a question like, well, what do you think you can do better? And you don't answer me, you're right. Some of the people, they probably don't know the answer. But 9 times out of 10, they know the answer. They just want to hear someone else say it so they can feel better about the decisions they're making or the choices or lack thereof.
Do you feel like in the world that we live in today, do you think that people are more in tune or in touch with themselves more now today or 10, 15 years ago?
I think some are and some not. I think some are growing up backwards. They're adulting backwards. And then I think some people are in tune with themselves, and those are the ones who are attempting to heal. Those are the ones who don't seek validation from external sources unless they're really looking for that help. I've called you and asked you questions, relating to business and stuff, stuff like that. Not because I wasn't, you know, not because I was seeking that validation or wanted to hear someone else say what I already knew the answer to, but just to gain that knowledge, just to gain that help, to take that constructive criticism to, we don't know everything. And a lot of people out here think they know everything. That's why it's hard for them to take constructive criticism. They ask questions that they don't want the answer to. And when you flip the script and you ask them, they don't want to tell you. And I think that comes from fear of judgment.
But where do you think that stems from? Like, what is so? Like, when I grew up, I was told we could be the president. You can be whatever you want to. Don't fall in line with what everybody else is doing. Be yourself. Like, create your own path. Take yourself to where it is that you want to be. Do what you want to do. Right. I don't see that being pushed as much anymore. It's like current modern day society, especially for the younger generation. It's we all need to be the exact same way. Everything needs to be uniform. Don't have your own thought process. Don't think outside the box. Stay right here with us. Basically, be sheep. Do you feel that is the way our current society is moving today?
Well, again, you started off with saying that you were told things. So those things you were told as far as being whatever you want to be, president, whatever the case may be, that started at home. You went outside and, those social pressures and environmental influences kicked in, which is where a lot of it stemmed from. It's just like the saying, my mama raised me right, I did wrong on my own. At the end of the day, society kicks in too. Influence and peer pressure kicks in. And that's where it stems from. A mother or father at home can tell you everything,
Under the sun.
under the sun. But then you get outside and you see, Jack and Jill down the street doing something different and, getting this attention or that attention. And then you start to get influenced. You start to feel that pressure. And maybe I got to be like this to get, this way and that way. And I think that that's where it comes from. Now in today's society, it's a lot of peer pressure. It's a lot of social pressure, social influence in how people move and how they act.
So true. I would definitely give that. There's some valid points in that, right? But when we grew up, if you did something different, you weren't per se judged. You weren't per se put on front street. You weren't per se ousted as the outsider. You were literally the difference maker. Like, oh, what would be a good example? Okay, so for instance, Michael Jackson became Michael Jackson because he didn't fall into anybody else's category, right? Prince became Prince because he didn't fall into anybody else's category. New Kids on the Block, and we'll go NSYNC, Vanilla Ice. Like, I call these Pepsi generation kids. Where in the Pepsi generation, it was about you can be whatever you want to be. You just have to work for it. Where the current generation is basically, well, it goes with the millennial thing. 40% of their rent is paid by their parents, so they don't have to work for anything. Do you think that the lack of work is also the exact same thing that's killing self love? Because, like, how can you love yourself if you never achieve anything? How can you love yourself if you got a participation trophy even when you lost? Like, is that truly self love or is that pacification?
Well, I'm a 90s baby, so technically I'm a millennium. I think you're referring to Generation Z. And I think that there is a misconception because growing up, we were very much judged, very much. If depending on what you wear, how you had your hair, if you rocking K Swiss and we rocking Nikes and Jordan, we were very much judged. I think, however, in reference to self love, it is very hard to build self love when you don't have to work anything because you haven't had to figure out what you're made of. Struggle builds character. If you haven't had to struggle for anything and you're walking around like a spoiled brat, then it's not self-love. That's where the narcissism comes in because you haven't had to work for anything. So you're around here feeling yourself and think the world revolves around you. Your mommy and daddy pay all your bills and will fix all your problems you never had to struggle. You never had to build your character. So
Build character. That's building
you
character.
you don't you have to build your character and then you have to love your character, whether it's bad or good. But if you never had to bend through the mud and everything is done for you, then you're kind of full of yourself because you think everything is going to be handled.
So, man, so that kind of, okay. So you think that will go hand in hand with the lack of good, wholesome, positive relationships today? So anyone between the age, I would say 25 to like 45 right now. Divorce rates at an all-time high. Marriages are at an all-time low. Childbirth it is an all-time low. And the only thing that people talk about is getting to the bag, but no one is willing to work for it. Do you think those things go hand in hand with self-love or the lack of it?
I mean, of course, I do think it goes hand in hand with a lot of different things. It's just like when you make yourself a plate of food. You're not just putting chicken on a plate. You got your chicken, you got your side, you got your vegetables. You might even have some rolls. You got your Kool-Aid, your pop, soda,
You trying
water,
to make a
whatever.
nigga hungry
So
or
I'm just,
something?
I am hungry. That's probably why I'm thinking about food. But at the end of the day, it all goes hand in hand. It's like a little recipe. When you see those little TikTok when they say how God made you, he put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So it's like it's not all solely focused on one thing. It all does go hand in hand with each other. And I think it starts at home. It's not just about telling the kids that they can be anything they want to be. It's also showing them. It's making them feel it. And I had this conversation with someone a couple of days ago about how often growing up did you hear in your household, I love you. I'm proud of you.
Okay. So in my house, that is something that was said a lot, right? There was a lot of love in my home. And now I look at specifically myself and my younger brother, right? And
Thank you.
he been with the same girl since he was, what, 13, 14 years old? Right? They got kids, right? And then I look at myself and the relationships that I've had in my life, right? And how, despite what, because I do post some controversial shit on my Facebook,
Same here.
but in real life, like, and that's just it. I think people don't understand that real life and what you post are two totally different things. A woman that is Every woman that I've been serious about has always lived under my roof and paid zero bills, right? And nothing was held against her. I've never told a woman, you can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that. It was 9 times out of 10, she wanted to do everything that she could in her power to make sure that I was happy, just for the fact that I made sure that she was shielded from the world, right? But that's because growing up, whether it was mom, aunt, uncle, like I had an uncle that I literally called Bonnie and Clyde. Okay, I got my Uncle Butch and my Auntie Hattie, love them to death. I had my Uncle Beaver, who was half-ass pimp, right? But he always had a good woman that he took care of. My Uncle Jerry, my Uncle Howard, like I could just literally be, especially as big as my family is, I could say that in so many ways. But in our family, the men have always taken care of the women. And in our family, we have no problem saying, I love you. And not only saying it, but showing that. Right? And then now as I'm older and I see other people's relationships, I see their home relationships, I see their friendships, I even see like their relationships with their children. It seems like there's a missing piece of love. There's a lack of love and a vulnerability there that doesn't allow them to have an openness that will allow the rest of it, like it's like the missing puzzle piece.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear that, but the average, black household, that was not the case.
Well, yeah, I'm older too.
Yeah, and you're older too, so keep that in mind.
Older.
But
I'm an
in
old
our
nigga,
generation,
ladies and gentlemen.
if you ask a person how often they heard "I love you" or "I'm proud of you," or was that space created between them and their parents or their aunt and uncle where they can come to them and share things with them, probably the auntie or probably the uncle. But when we're just talking about like your mom and dad, how often did you hear "I love you" or "I'm proud of you" in your household? You get what I'm saying?
A lot, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, you did.
Yeah,
We
but
already established
other
you did, but other people, it's not a common
No, it's
thing.
not, and I don't
and
understand that.
it
Like,
start
what's
at
missing?
home.
But why? Like, what is missing that doesn't allow other people to show that kind of love? Like, if
Fear.
you posted, okay, so we obviously had a conversation the other day, right? Okay, and it was basically about your businesses and what you needed to do, right? Okay, so my thing is like, if you posted, and even a week, 2 weeks from now, anything that your business was doing well, it's either gonna be like congratulations with hearts, or it's gonna be I love that for you, keep doing it. Zero contempt, zero hate. But that does not happen all the way around the board.
It doesn't.
And I'm trying to figure out where this hate to see other people doing well stems from, that allows other, because it's not just
It comes
that.
from jealousy. It comes from envy. It comes from a lot of different places.
Well,
It can
why?
come from depression. You're asking the wrong person,
Yeah,
because
like, I don't
me
get
personally,
that.
when I see someone else doing well, I love that for them. I want that from all of us, because I saw a post on Instagram that says you shouldn't be jealous of your friend or your neighbor receiving their blessings, because that means God's in the neighborhood and you might be next. So at the end of the day, if you show I feel like what we need to understand is energy is everything.
Everything.
It's everything and it's everywhere. What you get put out is what you're going to get back. So if you're putting out hate, if you're putting out jealousy and negativity and just harshness and judgmental, what do you think you're going to get back? You think you're going to be able to be evil in the world and that you're not going to have to receive some repercussions down the line? Karma don't miss nobody. It might take karma a day. It might take 2 minutes. It might take 2 years. Sometimes it could take 2 decades. We don't know because we're not the ones in control. But at the end of the day, if we practice more self-love within ourselves, then we'll be able to put out more self-love. Because when you're healed and when you love yourself, it hurts you to see someone else going through struggle. It hurts you to it bothers you. People can cry over a movie that they watch, but then as soon as they see something that someone is going through, it don't make them no matter. It ain't my situation or could be me.
Dom the Monko.
So, do you think that a lot of people are really just missing
Healing?
The pillar of love, just love within themselves, love that came from their family, love that should have been reciprocated?
Yeah, we're missing a lot of love in the world. It's a lot of hate going around.
So what you're telling me is a lot of these kids ain't never got no love, so they have no idea how to give love.
A lot of these kids need a hug.
They still need hugs as adults.
Yeah. They need some. They need tough love and they need tender love. It's just all around love. As far as marriage that you spoke on, I think the reason for the marriage issue is a lot of people are getting married for the right now. They're not getting married for the future. They're not getting married going in knowing that it's gonna be struggle. You might, like Michelle Obama said, she said, if I'm with you for 30 years and 10 of those years are bad, I'll take those odds. A lot of people are not willing to go through those 10 years of struggle to have those 20 years of greatness. The first sign of trouble, they're ready to be gone because they married the person for the person that they are right now, not the person they're going to become.
This goes back to the same people that say, oh, I need to build a foundation in a relationship, right? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You need to build a foundation in your marriage. Okay, marriage and relationships are two totally, yes, it's the same thing, but they're two totally different things. Because whether you like it or not, there is a mentality that comes with the term marriage. Okay, at this point in time, you have taken said man's last name, which is going to make you act a different way. At that point in time, you have now taken said man's last name, which guess what? He is going to act a whole totally different way as well. Because now, see, the thing that I think that people miss about marriage is that's two people coming into one. That means that you basically are mirror images of each other. So if you are acting a certain way or doing things in a certain way that he doesn't want done, well, you are a direct reflection of who he is. There's a saying, you can tell what kind of man he is by the way his woman acts. Again, you can tell what kind of man he is by the way his woman acts. And that is huge because men have to walk around in the world being either respected or disrespected by other men. And we all know if a man is disrespected, there are dire consequences that come to that. From a man disrespecting another man, there are things that are going to come out of that are not good, that can be very detrimental. That could be also the exact same thing.
Let's keep in mind also, you chose him. He didn't just choose you. You could have said no when he asked you to marry you. You chose this man. So why would you choose a man you don't respect? Why would you choose a man you don't want to listen to? Why do you choose a man that you don't trust to lead you? Because my thing is, as you grow, you change your garments. At the end of the day, you can't say you want to be a wife and you're still acting single. Because once you take that man, that is the leader of your household. That is, your protector, your provider. So why are you disrespecting the leader of your household again? Why? Makes no sense. And we have to learn to keep things private. Be careful who you tell your business to, because I just was listening to Ray's Different, and Nipsey said some loose lips sink chips. Just like break levees in New Orleans, or how the lyrics go, the guys know it. So at the end of the day, it's like you shouldn't be discussing your business with outside. Keep your business in your household. Don't put it on social media. Don't go running your mouth to your family and friends. Handle it yourself. If you guys can't communicate, write letters to each other. I'm big on writing, like journaling, writing love letters to yourself. And you and your mate are in a disagreement and y'all steady hollering and yelling at each other and no one's hearing each other points of view. Write it down.
Okay, so what she's saying is, if you fuck with her, you better have a pen and good penmanship.
Take some notes.
You better have a good pen and good pen, because she better be able to read your chicken scratch. And you better be, if you can't say it to her, write her a goddamn kite. Okay,
right. Write me a letter.
Write a letter. Send it through the CO. Take that. Tell the kids, the dog, the cat. Clip it to the motherfucking.
Look, I'm gonna put your letter under your plate when I make you dinner. Here, baby, eat, and when you done, go read that. When you
know she a good woman because she pissed off and she's still cooking for you.
I'm still gonna cook. We gonna still do a lot of things. That don't mean I ain't mad. It don't mean I ain't mad.
She gonna put her foot in it and a little bit of antifreeze.
Okay. Well,
she said okay.
I'm talking about not the antifreeze part.
Don't agree to that.
Because if I love you, I don't want to hurt you. But these words might.
So she gonna hurt your feelings, but she gonna make you feel better because she probably not gonna let you go to bed mad.
No going to bed mad.
Okay. So in self-love. The biggest thing with self-love, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect someone else to love you? Mm-hmm. I think we can easily both agree to that. Yes. If you don't have self-love, you definitely shouldn't even be attempting to get in a relationship, let alone allowing yourself to get into a marriage. Mm-hmm. Now, in the world we live in today, that is currently not the case because people are doing that. But I think we can both easily agree people aren't getting married for the right reasons. And they're clearly also getting divorced for not the right reasons. Now, in order to fix this, the first thing that has to happen is healing. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yes. Must heal. People love toxicity way too much. They think it's cute. They think it's fun.
It's on TV.
It's not.
No, because it's on TV.
That's not real life.
So what happens is there's so much... I blame a lot of stuff on TV and social media. And the reason that I say that is every TV show nowadays is a reality show. Marriage is no longer a beautiful thing because it's a reality show, which means it's no longer taken serious, which means it's no longer heralded as something beautiful and great because you have 1,000,001 TV shows about the dress, 90 Day Fiance, Love is Blind. Season 4 is actually really good. You guys should watch it.
Never watched it.
Say. The reason that and the reason that I do that, and I'll watch some because I watch very little TV, but if I do, I'll watch a new season of shit like Love is Blind. Because what it does is it shows that people potentially can actually fall in love with each other without having anything, right? But when they get around each other, because they've never met, and then they meet. But the only way they meet is if he asks her, will you marry me? After having conversations through a wall. And then 3 weeks in, I love you. And I want to marry you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But they're spending 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day having conversation and communicating with each other and going over all of these different things, right? So it's literally something that is so emotion based that I could see how you could fall in love. But what happens is you go from this to this, and then this to this. And then I'm down on one knee asking you, will you marry me? And you say yes. But you say yes because of the conversations that we've had. And then hopefully when you see me, you find me attractive. Now, the crazy part about it is once you don't find that person attractive, or once you're around that person and you see what that person is like really made of, that dictates whether you get married or not. And I say that is the truest version of what relationships probably are. Because when you first meet each other, so for instance, like when you meet someone, we don't have the conversation first. We get to see each other first. Then comes the conversation and the wooing, right? There's no dates, there's no none of this. So if you don't love yourself, truly love yourself, and you aren't mentally and emotionally healed from all of your traumas, you're literally going to put yourself in a corner. You're going to put your back up against a wall and turn what could be a beautiful situation into a horrible situation, and you actually get to watch it play out.
I think once you have healed, and you no longer are entertaining toxicity and the bad traits and stuff like that, dating becomes a lot more harder, because at that point you realize what you will and won't deal with.
Oh,
And
you cut people off quick as fuck.
you cut people off real quick. You be like, I can see right now this ain't gonna work. And the man or woman probably ain't even did nothing. But nevertheless, I feel like going back to, like we said, the self-love starting internally first, and people getting married for the right now. It's not just that they're getting married for the right now, the person you are now, or getting married for the wrong reasons. They're getting married under the assumption that it's always gonna be easy. It's always gonna be flowers and rainbows, which it is not. And I think that once people understand that it is gonna require work, and they go in knowing that, maybe that'll help the situation. But I think a lot of it is healing first. People are not healing. They're being in relationship after relationship, and they're punishing a new person for the old person mistakes, or worried about the wrong things. I think that we need to focus on, not just, we need to focus on healing, setting those boundaries, having that self-love for each other, knowing what it is exactly that we're looking for. Because sometimes you might meet a person and they not who you want right now, but they might be the person you want in the future. But are you willing to work with them till they get to that point? Not saying that you need to fall for potential, because I done fail for potential a lot of the times, and people don't always reach their potential. So at the end of the day, those conversations that they're having before they get down on one knee, depends on what are we talking about.
I don't want to see your potential. You need to see your potential.
You need to see your potential. You need to be encouraging yourself. I can encourage you all day long, but if you don't feel it for yourself, or like I said in the beginning, see it for yourself, then it's not going to matter what the next person say. Some people, like I said, seek that validation and that second input to make themselves feel better. But the only opinion that matters is yours.
So I understand that 100%. Women get mad at me because what'll happen is if you approach me and your goal is, well, you have to prove to me that you're worth. No, I'm not proving anything. What that tells me is you've settled for bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, so much that now all of a sudden, especially at my age, you've now found your worth. Too late, madame. Because at this point in time in our life, if you haven't already known your worth, and you can't just walk into a situation knowing that you've made the best choice. Someone has to jump through your hoops. That lets me know automatically you actually probably shouldn't be dating.
Well, let's say this. I say, like, I have someone right here on Facebook saying marriage isn't one-sided, and I want to explain. We're not saying marriage is one-sided. We're speaking in general for men and women. And
is that a man saying that, or is that a woman?
It's a man saying that.
Okay.
I think that what we need to do is hold ourselves at the same value and standards that we expect the next person. Well, I'm gonna say this. Remember, I was here last time and I said that one of my boundaries is if we're just dating or we're just talking or whatever case may be, I'm not going to go above and beyond doing wifely duties and things when I'm not a wife. And I think that men should hold themselves to the same standard. If
But it's hard.
you're just,
We can't. It's impossible.
yes, you can.
No.
Yes, you can. It's not impossible.
That
It's-
is that.
everyone
is
has a choice.
statistically correct. We
Everyone
do have
has a choice.
But this is the problem. The problem with that choice is, as a man, to show we're a leader, the first thing we have to do is choose where we go and what we do. The second thing we have to do is show our stability by paying for it. And guess what? Those are husbandly duties. And that starts from the very first date. So we can't hold back from that because, well, if a nigga takes your ass out and tells you you're going Dutch, you're not going for that.
If you need to ask me what a wife duty is, then you're not ready for a wife, sir. Because a real man knows the value of having a wife. He knows what having a woman in his life means and what she can bring to the table.
So he sounds like a red pill.
We're getting too caught up in this whole 50-50, men got to pay. We're getting too much caught up into that because real men know what wifely duties are.
Thank you. Real men,
they
Real
know.
man
I don't have to
knows what a
explain.
wife is,
We know what
a wife
wifely
does.
duties.
He shouldn't have to ask that question.
No.
But
in regards to what you said though, as far as the dating stuff, me personally, I purposely when I go out on a date with the man, I pay for myself. Because and that's not
you're taking away his
you can't
power.
tell me that paying for me is you having to prove something, but then when I offer to pay for myself to show you that I can meet you halfway, you tell me I'm emasculating you. You have to make a choice, pick. I think we need to it's this status going around talking about women are single because they want to get paid for being in a relationship, where a lot of men are single because they don't want to be men. They have a problem with the things that they have to do to be a man.
Think about what you just said. A man is going to pay for dinner, and if you remove that from him, you are taking away half of that man's job.
Listen, he can always say, "No, I got it. It's okay." But I'm going to offer, or I'm going to say, separate checks. Now, if he wants to come behind me and say, "No, it's okay, put it on one check," he can do that. There's a choice. You might feel emasculated, but I didn't put any tape over your mouth. I didn't put a gun to your head and say, "I'm going to pay for my own meal." If we're on a date and you hear me say 2 checks and you want to pay for my meal, by all rights, you can tell the waiter, "I got her. You can put it on mine. It's okay." Because as a man, you're a grown man. I can't speak for you. I can't.
True,
you can come behind me and say something.
This is something that women need to understand, because that is happening. And okay, so for you, it's okay for him to go 1 check. There are some women that will literally sit there and argue with a man, "No, it's 2." And the waitress, and I've been in a situation, it was some years ago, but I've been in that situation. And the waitress literally was like, "I'll let you guys figure it out and come back." Mm-hmm. That is one, it's fucking.
Listen, I'm not. All right, look, listen. There's a lot of there's many different types of females in this world. I'm not gonna argue with the men, especially out in public. I don't believe in doing that.
That makes no sense, and it's embarrassing.
Secondly, I feel like we have to understand too is where we are in society. A lot of women have been made to feel like, and not saying that the men haven't had things happen to make them do this, but a lot of women have got to the point of understanding that men associate paying for your meal with sex. There's a lot of men out here that believe if I pay for your meal, if I take you out and I buy you dinner, you owe me some ass. So a lot of women, they're arguing about check and not allowing you to pay for a check because she don't feel like she owe you some ass just because you bought her a meal, sir.
But that is few and far between.
No. You come from a different generation. You're a lot older. I'm telling you. And in my age range in society right now with the things that have going on, not saying that men haven't had things happen to make them feel this way as far as like, oh, if I pay for her a meal, she gonna come up off of it. It's the same way with men thinking, oh, if I tell her I got a drink and, you know, a blunt or some weed, she gonna come and, you know, then I'll be able to get shorty pants. A lot of men that's are my age range generation, that's how they move.
But hold on. They move like that because the women that are doing that and are allowing that.
I understand, which is why I said I'm not saying it as if they haven't had things happen to make them feel this way. But every woman ain't the same. The same way you're sitting on here on my live saying every man ain't the same. I understand that, love. But every female ain't the same either. And there's a lot of men that they come at every woman the same way. You can't come at every the same way. Recognize who you're speaking with and who you can get away with and who you can't get away with. So you might come across a shorty and paying for her meal. You might can get some ass for paying for that meal. You might can get some ass from giving her, you know, a bottle of Patron or Casamigos and a blunt. But then there's gonna be some women like me. I don't smoke. So telling me you got some weed don't do nothing for me.
But you have standards.
I have standards.
Okay, can you say that is agreed upon for 80% of your demographic of females?
No.
Thank you. So, if 80% of your own personal demographic is not abiding by that, and they are allowing that to happen, that's too much. So the majority of men are going to go with less smoke, less drink. Now get your ass in my bed, because that is what happens on it. It is a normal happening situation.
I understand.
Right? And that's that's where, as men, when men are taking out women and they say, I got it, and she goes, no, I got it, and it becomes a situation, well, yes, that happens on a regular basis too. And in the world we live in today, telling a woman even no in that aspect can become an argument. So a lot of times he is going to sit there and cross his hands up and let it go with it, right? And this is the thing, is most women themselves see that as a weakness and potentially won't even fuck with that dude. We getting a call. I'm going to switch this over real quick. Let me see if this goes through.
Hello.
You are live on the air, sir.
All right, I got a question. I got two questions, actually. You're talking about this right now. I've been listening. So I got one question. Number one, talk to me about your modeling career.
What's your other question?
All right. Other question is, I think everybody has a position in life, right? And, you know, I know Bailey very well. He's a good dude. He's been solid since day one. There's a lot of lack of loyalty today. People worship themselves. I think ultimately you have to make a decision whether you gotta like take care of your peoples and all that other stuff. We all do that. But at the same time, are you number one in your life, or is other people number one in your life?
No, actually, that was a statement, not a question. But I think once we realize that the divine is in all of us, then that's where people begin to worship themselves. And there's a little bit nothing wrong with that. I think we kind of touched bases on how the borderlines, it's a thin line between, you know, loving yourself and having self-love, and then being overly just narcissistic, and not
it's
doing
okay
it
being
humbly.
a narcissist,
you know, but
just don't have
there's
the
nothing wrong with loving
narcissisticness.
yourself and putting yourself first. We should worship ourselves.
So I think sometimes, I think this is my opinion. I think sometimes we put, like Twitter connotations to real words. I think valuing yourself and taking care of yourself is not narcissistic. That's dumb. I think that personally to me is dumb. That's not what narcissism is. I think ultimately we got to take care of each other and ourselves in some form or fashion. And the order of that doesn't necessarily matter. And that's just me. But I don't know.
Well, you do
I'm a
have to.
young.
There is an order to it. It's putting yourself first, because if you're not good, how can you help someone else? How can you be there for someone else if you're not okay?
And that's fine for me because I don't have kids. Do you have any children?
Yes.
Okay, so they're first, not you.
No, I am first, because I'm no good to my children if I'm not okay.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. I got to disagree.
No.
That's
You
dumb.
always have to put yourself first, because if you put your children above you, do your children make better decisions than you do?
Right. Do your children
Your
go to work and
children
make the
can't
money and to
lead
pay
you,
bills?
so you have to absolutely put yourself first. Because if you put your children before you as an adult no longer make adult decisions. Your job is to lead your children. Your job is not to be your child's best friend, your child's play partner, and your child's
I ain't say that, honey.
agreeer.
I said you gotta take care of your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
but
all I
taking
said.
care of
But
your
you don't
children,
have any kids, so how can you speak on
Well,
what
no,
a
no.
parent should do?
Taking care of your
I got a lot of
children,
younger cousins. I got younger siblings.
That's
but
not
it's
the
I put them
same.
on. I
It's
help them
not the
out.
same. I used to
Not
say
the
the
same.
same
That's different.
shit until I had kids. It is definitely not the same. Because what happens is, so I was giving my son shit even today. Tell him, you got to change your nose, your cheeks, your eyes, your chin, your lips. You just got to change your whole face because you look just like me. Well, guess what? When you are looking at a splitting image of yourself growing up, you have to be far more accountable for what you say, what you do, how you live, and the people that you put in that child's life far
Exactly.
more than anything. And those choices are you putting yourself first, because as long as you put yourself first, you allow your child to have the best chance in life as a whole, which is like, I have to put my health and myself first, because if I'm gone, my kids have no one else to fall on. If you're not putting yourself before your children, something like if you're a single parent, as in a single, and you are it is your job, for real, it is truly your job to put another either male or female positive role model in your child's life, so they know what it's like to see what a good, happy, loving home looks like, in order for them to grow up and do the exact same thing. And guess what? If you're putting your children first, that is the first thing that you should potentially be doing. When I see people and potential
I
other
completely
parents,
disagree with this, Bailey. Like 2000% disagree, bro. And here's my
but
thought
you
process
disagree
behind
because
it,
you
bro.
don't have kids yet.
No, it's not about kids or not having kids. It's like, right. So sometimes we make mistakes. Everybody on earth has made mistakes, and we have to learn from our mistakes. But there's a phrase we say in my language. It's like smart people learn from their own mistakes, and wise people learn from other people's mistakes. You know, and we have to share our knowledge with others, and the human connection. Right, we're all villagers at the end of the day. Like before we got here, yes, you know,
There's a saying in
and
my community too. It's called, when if you know better, you do better. So it's like at the
thank you.
end of the day, it's like, you say it's not about kids, but you say you disagree with me that I say that I'm gonna put myself before my kids, because if I'm not good, then my kids are not good. It's, for an example, if you have a girlfriend, right? Your child loves this girlfriend. Like they got a good connection, right? But you're not happy. You and this girl argue all the time. Are you gonna stay with her just because your child likes her?
Yes,
No.
Ew, you're not. Because at the end of the day, your child might like her, but at the
I'm gonna
end, but
keep it
they're
3,000.
hearing them.
I'm gonna keep it
She's hearing you
3,000.
and
Okay,
her
so
argue
so
This is
all
hold
the
the
on.
time.
So
problem.
Oz, what you're telling me
This is the
is
problem. No,
no, no,
let me
no.
talk.
What you're
Let me
telling
talk,
me
honey.
Make it
is,
make sense.
if you have a baby mama, but your baby mama is trash and she ain't doing what she needs to do for you, or the kids or the home, but the kids love him because she's mom. You gonna stay with her?
Okay. So you know me, Bailey, very well, Ian. So I said it your way. And this is the thing. We have to learn from other people's mistakes sometimes. We have to.
But that's not
And
how most
that's why
people
we
learn.
have to share with the younger generation. The younger generation needs to learn from our own mistakes. That's true. I don't have any kids. You guys have plenty. Thank you. Appreciate you. You guys have a different experience. But at the end of the day, you got to take care of your own. That's your, it should be priority one.
But that is taking
Right?
care of your own. You do
Taking
realize
care of me is taking care of my kids.
Yeah, take it and see.
So
So
you agree with me now?
'Cause you're
so taking care of you is taking care of them.
Well,
so
again,
that's
so
gonna be
if I
priority
put-
one.
if
Your
I put
self-care
myself first,
is taking care of others.
If
Thank
I'm
you
putting
so much for
myself
saying that.
first, that is taking care of my kids, which is what you said you didn't agree with.
That's self-care. She said it.
That's
You
not
didn't.
self-care.
No, he's right. It is self-care because I have to take care of myself to take care of my kids.
Which
so
is
he's
an
basically
unselfish-
agreeing
which
with
is
me
un-
because at first when
but-
I first said it, he said he didn't agree.
I know, exactly,
So
but this
basically,
is-
you do agree with me.
So this is the thing. As a parent, you do selfish things for unselfish reasons. You have to put yourself first to put your home first, right? That's like if I'm married and I have a whole family. Do I buy a motorcycle or do I pay the mortgage? I'm paying the mortgage.
But what's this other question? Because we sound like we're agreeing.
I already
Now
asked
that
the
he's
first one,
hearing
he
me,
didn't like it.
he
So I'm
sound like
gonna get to the next thing I was going to say, which was this. I think let me ask this hypothetical question: is that if your favorite relative, whether it's your aunt, your cousin, your sibling, asks you for 80% of your net worth to get them out of trouble, would you help them or tell them no?
Who are you asking that to? Is that for both of us or for her?
Both of y'all.
it depends on
Individually.
what
Who wants
type
to
of
answer
trouble
that
they're in. Because truth be told, my answer would be no. But it does depend on the situation. Truth be told, if
Let's
you
say
watched
they
the
ask
last
you
show,
for a paid lawyer. They ask you for a paid lawyer to get them out of trouble. And if you pay this lawyer, they'll be out of trouble. They won't get that F next to their name. They'll be good. Would you do it?
No. Me personally, I've been in that situation. I have a brother going through that bullshit as we speak. And guess what?
Okay.
No. Because at some point in time, I have to hold you as an adult accountable for the decision. And this isn't the first time. This is like the 50th time. If it's the
I'm
first
saying
time,
this is the first time. No,
if
this
it's
ain't the
the
third
first
time. It's the first
and
time.
the only time, potentially. But the question then goes, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to look at, so for instance, if it was my Uncle Skip, who I love to death, and he got a DUI, but I know he drinks incessantly, and the more I've told him to stop drinking, he refuses to stop drinking. And then he's asking me to give him 80% of what I have in order to help him get out of a situation that I know he's going to put himself back into again because he's refusing to stop drinking. Guess what? No, I'm not going to do it. Why? Does that person still drink? Yes. Does that person still go out and drink? Yes. So has that person truly learned their lesson? No. So what I'm doing is I'm allowing that person to continue to do the exact same thing over and over and over again because the person is yet to learn their lesson. This is exactly what I went through with this man, even though I was much younger, and guess what? Alcoholism killed him. That is what took him off of this earth. May he rest in peace. So the answer to that question is, well, if I have put myself in a position to be in that position and then I haven't stopped doing what got me in that position in the first place, lets me know that that person loves what they're doing far more than they love their own freedom. Mm-hmm. So why would I help them do something that they're planning on continuing to do anyway? That makes no sense.
Same here. I like I said, it stands on. I stand on what I said. It depends on the situation. Certain things, if it doesn't align with me morally, or then I can't agree with it. And when I say things like that, I mean like rape, or murdering someone, just taking a life and it wasn't in self-defense, or a hit and run situation. You hit somebody, you left the scene, you didn't stay to check and see if they, like, it depends on the situation. But my first answer would be no, because 9 times out of 10 people need to be held accountable for their actions, and as long as they keep getting bailed out of situations, they won't.
Yep. Natalia says, I don't have kids, but he makes no sense. He's not understanding her point. Marcy says, feeling the consequences of your actions can create great changes in character and behavior.
Kimmy said, I don't have kids, and I'm not agreeing with the guy who don't have kids. So at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself to take care of others, and you can't keep taking care of others who are not holding themselves accountable for their actions or trying to do anything to change their life.
And accountability in life is one of the biggest things that people run from. Accountability is what dictates your next move in life. It actually dictates your current move and your next move. So, for instance, if said person is dealing with said situation, right? The first thing that you should be asking is, what changes has that person made to make sure that that never happens ever again? Drinking and driving isn't a change. Stopping from drinking and driving isn't a change. What should actually happen is that thought process should be, I should probably stop drinking. The fact that I was drinking and driving lets me know that when I drink, I make bad decisions. That bad decision is actually costing me. It's a costly decision. I should probably stop drinking because clearly I can't make the right decisions when I'm drinking.
And if you can't stop drinking, drink responsibly.
Well, if you can't stop drinking, there might be a
problem. Well, that
and
too.
Then there goes back to healing
and accountability
and this thing called rehabilitation
and self-love. Because when you love yourself,
you'll stop drinking because you're going to take care of your physicality.
Because when you know better, you do better.
And when you do better, you get better outcomes.
Exactly. So, young sir, do you have another question?
And I would be the first person to say is, pull out your shitty ass iPhone and go to Google and do define narcissist and define narcissism, so you see the two differences between the words, and then also look up narcissistic personality disorder. Those are three totally different things, and a lot of people,
they're very different, and I never insinuated anything otherwise. But my next question is this: what do you guys think about your retirement, and what are your plans for that?
But you already know, my plans for retirement.
My plans for retirement is anywhere but the USA.
I'm buying apartment complexes until all children have apartment complexes under theirs. I'm living in Dubai, and I am going to buy properties all throughout the I'm going to buy land all throughout the U.S. and prime locations. And I'm going to get these millionaires and billionaires in Dubai, and I'm going to put them on 50-year leases where they're going to put up either luxury apartment complexes, shopping centers, parking lots, whatever it is. It's going to be a 50-year lease that does nothing but bring in money. And every 5 years, obviously, because there's inflation and deflation in the economy, every 5 years we're going to renegotiate pricing on that. And then every 50 years, well, by that time, my kids should be renegotiating and or potentially selling those different lots of land that have been used that have generated millions on top of millions.
So another question I have, because this is very important in our community, is the lack of financial literacy. So when are we going to start teaching credit instead of gym and things like that? What do you guys think about financial literacy with the young community?
Well, I'm gonna just jump in right there and say that technically wasn't the topic we're discussing today, but we did speak on that being something that our community so desperately needs. And I wasn't trying to be, dismissive to your last questions, but no disrespect, I don't know you. I don't speak on my future aspirations or even goals that I'm working on because I'm big on energy and people can speak, down on stuff and then you wondering why things not happening is because you done told someone what you planning and they like, well, she ain't gonna do this, that ain't gonna happen for her and stuff like. So I'm very big on my energy and my bubble. So, without me, knowing you and so many people watching, I'm not gonna put my goals and aspirations out there to be spoken negatively over. But financial literacy is a big thing in our community. It's several education sources out there for them to go into credit repair. I actually know a young lady who is going to be starting her own podcast soon and getting that information out. I've, been in several groups. There's actually a very good group on Facebook called Road to 750 who teaches about credit repair, things for your credit literacy, that people can look into, I think that's a topic of very, things that we are needed in our culture as in that aspect, like financial literacy should be saved for another, day, because today we're actually just talking about healing, self-love, and setting those boundaries.
And then you know better than asking that question because how many people have I taught about changing their financial livelihood, credit, and so forth and so on? Yourself included, sir.
Me included, because I called you about business credit.
So this is my thing, right? So this is my personal opinion. Is like the help that this man has given me is very helpful, very impactful, and we should share that information.
But that
And it's
information
something I think
is
about.
shared often. But this is the problem. And this is where I'll did this conversation because it happens a lot. We can have this conversation till we're blue in the face. You know what people don't do? If I talk to 1,000 people, one person out of 1,000 people is going to follow through and do what they need to do. So we talk about our community quite often and what we should do, and they love to complain about what should happen and how it should happen. But I am a free resource, and my phone number is wide open, and it's all over the internet. And there's many of videos where I brought professionals on here. Life insurance, credit repair, mortgages, buying homes, flipping homes, Airbnbs. All these videos are right here on this channel. You know how many people tune in? Especially people of our culture tune in and do and follow or reach out to even those other professionals that do that for a living? None. So until
My
people
personal
make the
take on that is
personal,
that people don't feel like it's an arm's length away. They don't feel like it's an arm's
No,
length away.
people know that the
Feel like it's
education is out there. They
You
don't.
can turn on YouTube
They
right
do
now.
not take advantage of resources. That's just the truth in our community. People don't take things seriously. People don't want to hear what they don't know because they think they know everything. It's not a secret anymore. Yeah, it might not have been in our education system. Yeah, it might not have been taught to us, but we're adults now. Seek and you shall find. Do the research.
And you
Look
know
for
it
your
like
resources.
you
People
know
don't
it.
go looking.
You know it like I know it. Half of the people that you have been around and has also been around me that I give this information to, half of them are like, oh, he knows what he's talking about, and the other half are like, oh, he's full of shit.
I think you got other
That,
call. I have
that's actually
Kimmy
true.
saying
And
that she's
again,
tapped
this
in.
goes back to my greater point, which is how do we change that?
That's a whole totally different podcast.
People must change themselves
We're not
first,
gonna do
love.
that. And yep, that's the first choice. The first thing goes back to the accountability portion. The
They
first thing
love
you have to
themselves.
do is change accountability and hold that A. Most people say
Yeah.
hold that L. hold that A.
Okay.
You have to hold that A. When you hold accountability, your entire life changes.
Yeah.
When you're accountable for all of your actions, it changes everything from there. I say it, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. For every action, there is a reaction. You cannot get a reaction without an action. People need to start putting things into action first and foremost.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't feel like that addresses what I asked.
Well,
I
again,
just said, what can we do to do better? And
How
then
about
I'd be
this?
different.
I answered you. I
No.
answered you.
Yeah.
I said people must change themselves. You asking how can we do better? It starts with each individual. You can't make someone do better if they don't want to do better.
Correct.
We have to change ourselves if we want to see that change. You can't say, "Oh, I want to see change," but you ain't changing. You can't say, "Oh, I want to learn about credit repair," but you don't pick up no books. You don't
or
do
pay
no
your
Googling.
bills.
Well, shit.
You want to
I
know
can
how
hit you
we
with
can
books
do
on
better?
books
We
now.
can start
That's
with
different. That's
ourselves. We
different.
can start
That's
changing
different
ourselves. We
conversation.
can do better.
No, it's not a different conversation. That is the conversation. The reason I know the things that I know is because not only did I read
Man,
them,
Masha,
I
Robin,
put them
next
to
caller.
use in order to make sure that they happen. People can do the exact same thing. It is choice. It is holding yourself accountable and saying, this is what I want to do for myself.
A lot of black people don't even take things seriously at this point. You know, it's a lot of conversations being had, but who is actually really doing anything? You say, how can we do better? Put some action behind the things that you say you want to see or accomplish. Stand
Well,
on what you
I
say.
go to the soup kitchen every month. I go to the soup
We're
kitchen
not,
every
but hold,
month.
stop. We're not talking about you.
You said, how can we, as
You
a
said,
community,
how can
as a
we?
culture?
That's a cultural thing.
In general.
What you do doesn't dictate what you're asking about for other people. And this goes back to it. I know you very well. And when I gave you information, you put it to use. And it made a change for you. Now, in knowing that, have other people that you know that have asked for the exact same information put it to use? Yes or no?
It's like 75-25. 75 no, 25 yes. But the 25 I did, I'm very happy that I did it.
Thank you. So, you can't put off what other people need to do when it's being done, but people aren't following through. You're a college student. How many people drop out of college? More than that graduate, right?
Way more.
Thank you. Well, take that exact
70%.
same. Take that exact
70%.
same. That exact same number is the amount of people that don't put shit to use.
Thank you.
But
as a part of the 70%, I took some time off. I mean, I understand it's expensive and it's not easy.
so
Especially if
again,
you're older.
Hold the A. The A is accountability and action. Those are two things that absolutely must happen. Now, we gonna
Yeah,
get
that's
back
true.
on track over here because we are talking about something totally different than financials today. We're not gonna go there. Appreciate you calling in, though.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. Self-love.
Self-love.
Now I'm gonna go back to what old boy was saying back there, where they said marriage is one-sided. Now,
Yeah, he said I got defensive and all he did was ask a question.
well, the same thing happened on.
It wasn't
on,
then a defensive because he agreed with me. A real man knows what, wife.
A real
duty
man knows
is.
what
He
a
don't have to
wife
ask that
is,
question.
right? And marriage in the United States is a one-sided contract. But that's not a one-sided. And this goes to, and I say this all the damn time. If you marry the right woman, it's no longer one-sided. If you are going for the bad bitch that's looking for the come up and you are the come up, well, that's your dumbass decision. And yeah, and I talk about this and I've talked about this quite often, but it's also like the failure of current relationships. Well, as much as we as men at times, and we're definitely speaking out about it now more than ever, want to, say what women are doing wrong, we also have to hold the accountability of what the fuck we have done wrong. Because men are natural leaders and have been leading this country as we have the world for a very long time. But it's the fact that men fell short that allow women to have to take the burden of most of the shit that they take on in life, which puts them in a very masculine feels, a very masculine role in life, to where you then have to fight to get in. And what happens is you're not strong enough to hold, again, the A. You're not strong enough to take her out of her masculine and put her in her feminine. True, it shouldn't be a fight, but this is the world that we live in today. And sitting there bitching and complaining about what is one-sided lets me know that
he said it isn't one-sided. I'm sorry. He said marriage isn't one-sided.
Okay. Well, again, marriage as a whole is a one-sided contract, because if the woman leaves the man, she's getting whatever she wants out of that situation. He ain't getting shit.
There are some women that pay men alimony. It's not spoken on,
but it's so
a lot
small because it's insignificant.
It's not insignificant. We need to understand that there's equality between the two. Marriage isn't one-sided, like he said, and he's absolutely correct. It's not one-sided contract. It's not anything, because, like you said, when you marry the right person, you both are given 100%. It's not 50-50. You both are putting in 100% effort to make sure that the marriage works and is successful. At the end of the day, men feel like it's one-sided because of this whole having to be the provider, leader, protector and everything like that. But please don't speak as if women
that's
don't.
Not one-sided.
Exactly, it's not one-sided. That's the role of a man. Exactly.
So it's not
the
one-sided
aspect.
The one-sided aspect is 80% of men, 80% of women leave men. 90% if they have a master's degree. 93% of women get custody and child support. 95% of men have to pay alimony. And that's why we say when a woman does it, it's insignificant. If 95% of men are paying alimony, child support, and court costs, the 5% of women that are doing it, that is an insignificant amount to 95. It doesn't matter at that point. It's a rarity. That's like me walking outside my door right now, finding a 1-carat diamond. It's just not gonna happen. It's rare. That is something that just doesn't happen. And that's because that's where now a broke man married into a rich woman's life, which I will give it to women. Y'all are smart. Y'all will put a prenup in place before a man will. You will protect yourself full force before a man will. He'll walk in hunky-dory, oh, everything's going to be all right, but he already knows he married the wrong woman. And to me, that within itself is stupid.
That sounds like a personal problem. It sounds like they went into the marriage unhealed and they need to figure it out.
Did you see that?
You have a mouth because I just got lost in your eyes. See, this is why I wear sunglasses now. I know my eyes is dangerous, baby. You're not even supposed to be looking so hard that you can see my eyes through the glasses now.
This shit is crazy.
Listen. At the end of the day, we have to be accountable for the people we choose to be with. If you listen, you pick that woman the same way I said you picked that man. I don't believe in men arguing with women at the dinner table out in public. I believe in keeping your business private and discussing it at home. In regards to people we pick to choose to be with, when you are healed and you have self-love and you have those boundaries for yourself, picking a woman or picking a man does become a lot harder, and it is a rare find because you now know what you will and what you won't deal with. But until you heal, until you're not entertaining toxicity and all this and that, and them pop-ups don't going through phone, like, listen, I'm not going through your phone and I'm not popping up for you. If I feel like it's anything fishy, I choose not to deal with it. And we all, men or woman, can make the same choice. Men, be accountable for what you choose to deal with. You like her, you like that fat ass, you like how she look in them jeans, and and that's why you choose to put up with her BS. Let's just call it what it is. And truth be told, we need to accept the fact that 95% of women are operating within their masculinity because it has become their comfort zone. Their masculine energy has become their protector. It has become their leader. It has become their provider. So if you want to take a woman out of her masculine energy, step in and show her those things. If you step in as a man, a masculine alpha male who knows how to treat a woman, knows what his roles and stuff are, and you dealing with a woman and you feel like what you bring to the table is not of value for her, that you can't get her to open up her softer side or calm down or whatever the case may be, make a choice. Are you going to continue to deal with it, or are you not going to deal with it?
And you got to understand that you just got to understand women as a whole. A lot of women today are living within the confines of fear. If he leaves me, I'm left with nothing. And that is a real fear to them. And because of that fear is why they go off and do what they do and say what they say and live how they live. If you can't remove that fear from them, you are not the one. Simple as that.
He said women don't have masculinity. It is defensiveness. No, sir. Everyone walking, man and woman, have feminine and masculine energy. A man has feminine energy. It is what allows him to be intimate, to be romantic, to be soft. But a real man is borderline. You have men out here that have female tendencies. Everyone has feminine and masculine energy. Women have masculine energy that serve as a defensiveness. Their masculine energy serves as their defensiveness.
Women are naturally feminine.
They're naturally feminine. They choose to act masculine because it is their defensiveness.
And the key word she said is act.
Acting.
They're not truly masculine.
No,
they are acting. Like, I love her to death, Lil Ma, the rapper, or not? Is it Lil Ma? Or like M.A. The rapper acts very, very masculine. Acts like a man. She is a butch woman. But most recently, she was real sick. And guess what? She was also real feminine. And she toned the shit all the way down. Why? Because she went into her natural self, her natural being, because she wasn't feeling herself. Mm-hmm. And the moment that she wasn't feeling herself, she wasn't 100% at health, her womanhood showed up real fucking quick. Women are naturally feminine. Men are naturally masculine. Which is why when a man acts the way he does, speaks with the way he does, with the tone he does, that is natural to us. When you speak the way you do, and you speak softly, and you come across very demure, that is what is natural to a woman. That's why kids, at the end of the day, act differently with mom and dad. With mom, is mom, can I? Nah, nah, nah. And they're quick to try to play on mom. On dad, can I do? No. And they're gone.
You don't understand energy, sir. You don't understand spirit, because there's both. It's yin and yang. We all hold the yin and yang. You need to tap more into spirituality, and you probably understand the place I'm speaking from, because I'm very spiritual. So I understand that as the human being and physical aspect, our spirit tends to have both feminine and masculine energy. It depends on which one we act in. Yes, women are naturally feminine. That's what we were born to be. But 95% of women out here are acting in their masculine energy because it serves as a defensiveness. It serves as their protector. Leaning on their masculine energy is what keeps them, in a sense, protected and feeling safe. We discussed that on the last time I was here, as far as taking a woman outside of that masculine and putting her back into her natural feminine energy.
Where she is happiest, where she is at home.
And if you're with a healed woman, saying thank you, saying please, saying you're right, saying, yes, baby, or whatever the case may be, it comes naturally to her because she's operating in her natural element.
Which is why conversations like this, specifically on this podcast, between these two people can actually happen. Because she brings a total feminine energy and she knows what the fuck she's talking about. And she's willing to stand on that with a masculine man, which clearly I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And even when people call in, this is the thing. When someone calls in and they speak out of turn, we need to stop agreeing with them. When there are people in the world, whether it's a call in, a chat in, or real life relationship advice, life advice, love advice, friendship advice, stop yes manning people. Be honest. Point blank period. If you are my friend and you are a cheater, I'm telling you to tell your girl, because more than likely she's probably gonna be on the same page as you. But you are living in fear, and as a man living in your feminine, by not being real with the person that you say you love. And vice versa. At some point in time in life, we need to get back to where we are real with each other. And guess what? I've been the king of that for a long fucking time. Even if it gets me called an asshole or whatever else, I will hold that L. I will take that L every day of the week because I'm going to walk around with my A's. Accountability and actions. I am never going to allow someone around me to fail because I lied to them, mislead them, or pacify them.
And I'm over here like triple A on the Parkers AAA because I'm accountability, actions, and affirmations, okay? Because at the end of the day, I like being in my feminine energy. I don't want to be masculine.
and I think that's where people are failing at first and foremost, where you can't love yourself if you don't even know who you are. Mm-hmm. If you don't even know what's natural to you. If you don't even know where you fit in life. If you don't even know or understand yourself, how can you ever understand the other sex? Like men are from Venus, men are from Mars.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Okay,
we do have to understand ourselves to understand the other person. I feel like in our culture too, I feel like it's too much pointing the finger, or you this or you. It's like at the end of the day, let's just come together.
We're partners.
Yes, we're partners.
You do shit.
Like, let's come together, have a conversation. If you can't have a conversation, write it down or something.
Write this girl
I told my friend that, like, listen, to build our bond, because I never want to argue with my friends. I never want to, I really like solid people, and I feel like you should surround yourself with solid people. Surround yourself with what you aim to be, people you can learn from, and we have to understand that we outgrow people sometimes. Sometimes we outgrow people, and loving yourself is being able to recognize when you and someone else have outgrown each other, and you can love them from a distance. Like, I love you, you cool, whatever, but I'm gonna go, and do my thing on this end, because you can't take everybody everywhere. Everybody don't mature the same or in the same time frame. And we too busy pointing the finger at what you need to do or what I need to do. You can't tell me how to be a woman. I can't tell you how to be a man. But what I can tell you is what I expect from a man. What you can tell me is what you expect from a woman. And if I don't serve that purpose for you of your expectations or what you want or what you need,
Be
then
gone.
be gone.
Be
Set
gone.
your boundaries.
Same thing.
Same
I got
thing.
a very small circle of friends, and the reason that I have a very small circle of friends, at the end of the day, I have a purpose. Not only as a man, first and foremost, I have a purpose as a father. My first purpose is as a man. My second purpose is as a father. I am a brother and I am a friend. And I am going to serve my purpose. And if yours does not align with mine, guess what? I got no problem letting your ass go. I have no problem turning my back on you and saying it's been nice, it's been great, we got memories, no hard feelings, but where I'm going, you are not allowed.
Can't go.
Simple as that. You don't even want to pay the entry fee. So since you don't want to pay the entry fee, I'm gladly going to pay my way and move it forward.
Yes. Love yourself enough to put yourself first. Love yourself enough to know when to say no. And do things that you enjoy doing, whether you do them by yourself or not. Like you asked me earlier, what are some of the things I do for self-love? And I told you laugh. I told you I buy myself flowers. I listen to music, and I feel like at the same time, like I said, energy is everywhere. We need to understand that what we listen to, what we watch, like reality TV and all this rah, what you give out and what you're listening to you're taking that into your energy. You're taking that into your spirit, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not.
All that hip hop shit. Oh, it's just entertainment, but you trying to live that lifestyle.
You listening to gang bang music, riding around drill music all day, then how you think you finna move out here? You finna move out here like you ready, like you looking for something to happen at this point because you just so on it. The music got you hype. But you know what? We need to start listening to that feel good music again. I listen to a lot of feel good music.
We need 90s music back. 90s R&B.
That's why every time I come here, we be gone like it's almost 2 hours.
Where we at? God damn.
No, we just be
It
talking.
was just at 52 minutes. It's an hour and 52 minutes now.
Yes. Look, self-love is a must. Healing is a must. Setting those boundaries is a must, you guys. We have to heal ourselves. We have to work to heal our community. And we have to start taking things seriously. And we have to stand on the things that we say that we want to accomplish. If you want to accomplish, get to it. Do it. And hey.
I'm going to say I'm over the community thing. Fuck the community. Because you know what the community is now to me? My kids. And my kids. Because you know what? If we raise our kids correctly, that is the community. Because they're going to grow up with great values, great morals, and doing things differently than what the fuck clearly we're doing. Because as they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Technically, you can teach an old dog new tricks. The problem is, most old dogs don't want to fucking listen. And when the dog don't want to listen, kick the dog out. Simple as that. Self-love.
You got it.
Go ahead and do your closing statements for self-love.
Thank you, Bailey, for having me. Once again, I enjoy being here. I love these talks. My name is Tatiana. You can find me on Facebook, Tatiana X Dolly. If you're on Instagram, find me at __ Tatiana for real. That's the number 4. And, if you're looking for me, you can catch me June 9th at Flex Fest. You can catch me, you might catch me out and about. You never know. Definitely hit me up if you're looking at bigger
on
trips.
Sundays, because clearly her ass don't get out of bed.
No.
She just on super chill. But you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I be chilling.
That's my Saturday.
Yeah, that's your Saturday. Look, I work all the time. Look, it's so I got an appearance and didn't even know what day. It's June 9th, Flex Fest. I will be one of your ring girls. You can catch me there. You can also catch me June 17th. I will be at another event. Flyers are posted on Instagram, Facebook, all around. You check me out. Definitely hit me up if you're trying to book a trip and get some deals and offers to resorts, cruises, trips, foreign countries, and all. Doesn't matter.
I might need to get a no cap discount code.
Hey, if you book through a travel agent like myself, I'm an independent travel agent. You can get special deals and offers, no discount needed. We are the discount. When you book through a travel agent, we are the discount.
If you need a vacation and you came to her from here, tell her you came from nocappreacts, and she gonna give you discounted pricing. She giving you something.
We got offers all the time. Cruises, land, resorts, it doesn't matter. I book Airbnb, hotels, car rentals. I do it all. You just got to hit me up. You looking to plan a trip. I promise you it's going to be worth it. Because you can't get them deals when you booking yourself. Those are special rates strictly for us. Agents. Strictly for us. So hit me up.
I might need your IATA number.
Yeah.
Because that's the discount on them flights. People don't know that. So like I said, I used to be a travel agent. So I know about the IATA number. When you get the IATA number and you put that in, you don't do it online. You got to call the airline. This is my IATA number. And they get, well, here's your pricing. This is if you fly on this date, because I ain't got one no more. Boy, I was.
He say, I ain't got no one. Well, I got one. And I'm booking trips. And I can get you them discounts and them special rates. Whether family, friends,
I just want it for my personal use. I want to be able to get the discount on them flights again, goddammit.
Okay, I hear you. But check me out. I'm around, you guys. Hit me up. Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys next time.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of Sunday Night Live with the lovely Tatiana. I'm pretty positive. You gonna do this again?
Yeah, I'm always happy for the invite.
So we gonna do this again. I don't know when, but just know at some point in time it's gonna happen again. We probably gonna choose
a different topic.
A different time. There is like a whole.
He's trying to get me here on a Friday, so it depends on how I'm feeling. I might come on a Friday, but I'm a healed, feminine woman. Some things I just don't see myself talking about. But,
but
there
it's
are
not the
sides
fact that you have to talk about it.
Yeah, they call in and they,
Okay, and then, like, you did say something that resonates deeply because it has to do with a lot of my life. Mm-hmm. We'll go off camera. But there are some aspects of people, like, because you're feminine, that means you're in touch with your sexual side.
Well, that is definitely true.
Exactly. So you can help some of these other, and it's not that we go deep and dark and like sexual.
Well, it's Freaky Fridays for a reason.
Well, freaky doesn't just mean sexual. You could have a situation. Okay, so like earlier today, I got a story where after I dropped my son off today, I was driving home out of nowhere. The truck right in front of me, I was going right. If I would have been going straight, he got T-boned right in front of me. Mm-hmm. But if I wasn't going right, I was getting hit. That's a Freaky Friday story. That's why
y'all see Bailey's face? That's a face of a man that ain't telling the truth because he know Freaky Fridays is freaky. It ain't about nobody almost getting clipped in. I believe your story. I don't think that was a lie.
I'm going to pull you up some stories where people call in and it's not just about sex. They
talking about crazy. Well, I'll think about it. Maybe you guys catch me here on a Friday. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be another day. We'll see. But I definitely have a lot of things planned. So follow me. Hit me up. Look me up. Stay tuned. I definitely will be outside and around. I mean, I'm actually going to Poetic Soul 7-year anniversary this Wednesday. So maybe you catch me there. You never know.
You never know. Maybe you'll catch her at Poetic Soul.
Hey,
Y'all gonna catch me here Freaky Fridays,
you see that picture?
Sunday night. Hey, she bad though. I saw her and just had to do that. Sunday Night Live. And then Monday through Thursday, we do therapy session. There's no set time for that. It can happen. It's happened at 6 p.m. It started at 11 p.m. Therapy session has actually been one of those things that has turned out to be a very good addition to this. For those of you that know me, such as like the caller that called in, I help a lot of people do a lot of different things. And what I'm actually trying to do is change those conversations from being over the phone conversations and in-person conversations away from it to where you come and just have a seat on the couch, because these are things that other people can actually learn from, which is like why this is a great subject because people could learn from this. Truthfully, it's like a Sunday edition of therapy session, because everybody in life needs therapy and people need to heal and get to where they need to be at, whether it's their relationship, their life, their love, their job, their careers, their kids. These are open forums, open conversations. We can have them at any point in time. And with that, definitely want to say thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sunday Night Live. I'm your man, Bailey, a.k.a. Mr. Go. Get him! And